This is Mike Francisco of 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗶𝗽𝗶 Philippines. Join us as we explore tourism, lifestyle and entertainment, amazing sports, news and current events, only here on DCRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV.
Watch and listen to Litrato Philippines, Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Airing on Sky Cable Channel 224 and on all DTT boxes. Simulcasting online on Facebook and YouTube. Listen and watch on your mobile devices. Just search DZRJ Radio Bandido.
Ayan, magandang gabi po sa lahat po nanonood ng Litrato Philippines sa araw po ng Miyerkules, no? October 25, no? And this day we have a special guest from other country as well. She is from Miss Earth, no? England, but later on I will introduce her first. But before anything else, we would like to invite everyone to watch Litrato Philippines. You can watch us live, no? Via Sky Cable Channel 224. And all TV boxes and DTT boxes nationwide. And of course, you can hear us in our radio station here in the Philippines, DZRD 8:10 a.m. And of course, we have a social media account, facebook.com/DZRD 8:10 a.m. and our YouTube channel, DZRD 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV. And we do have, no, of course, apps, no, Streama apps, Radio Garden apps via iOS and Android. Then search DCRJ 8:10 a.m. For you able, no, to watch us or to hear us. I'm sorry, in other country, no, whether you are working, overseas Filipino workers or pageant fans from your respective country, which is we introduce our guests. You can listen to us live. No, it is all simulcast and live via satellite. No, anyway, before we introduce our guests, I would like to also, no, to extend or to introduce to you my co-host. This is our Miss Philippines Earth Air 2023. No other than Carrie Riley. Hi, Carrie. Good evening.
Hello po. Feels good to be back.
Yes. Good evening. Anyway, she will able to join us in order for us to interview our beloved guest for today. But I'll be the one who will introduce her in order for us, no, to know better about our candidate. Anyway. She is 25 years old, and an interesting fact about her is that her eyes are multicolors and change depending on her mood. Oh, really? I don't know. I mean, I didn't know that there's a person existing for that particular matter. Maybe I will ask the colors in what particular mood she in. She grew up in a coastal town in England. Most beautiful countries, Cumbria. She spent countless hours as a child the beach, truly immersed in the beautiful natural landscape with her family, friends, and most importantly, her dogs. To this day, she is still a dog lover and love to spend time with them and often as she can, no? Her love for the beach has also continued into her adult years as she regularly volunteered with her local beach cleanup organization. When she was 18, she moved away from home to become the first person in the family to go to the university to study accounting and finance. And now she has proud qualified chartered accountant and even prouder to be a woman in finance. Outside of work, she used her finance knowledge to provide free advice to female entrepreneurs and small businesses, many of whom she met through her passion for shopping with local independent brands. She have always loved shopping at all things as passion as the way to express her creativity and individually. She equally understands and actively promote the importance of embracing sustainable practices. This is why no, she aimed to show people that sustainable fashion is not a luxury but a necessity. And it's just as fun. She educates people on the importance of re-wearing, restyling, and repurposing garments because, after all, the most sustainable clothes are the one you already own. Growing up, she suffered with eating disorder for almost 2 decades, and a huge part of her recovery was working on improving her overall mental health. Her favorite way to clear her mind of negativity is to spend time in the fresh air surrounded by nature because being in nature is proven to help uh, relieve fear and stress and increase feeling of happiness. This is why she believed that we need to do everything that we can to protect our environment so that the future generation can continue to reap nature's many benefits. Our Miss Earth England, no other than Jordan Lewis Smith. Hi, good evening, Jordan.
Hi, hello. Thank you for having me this evening.
Yeah, how do we do address you, Jordan or Luis? Which one?
Jordan, please.
Yeah, Jordan. Okay. Carrie, would you like to ask some question to Jordan?
Yes. Tell us a little bit more about yourself outside pageantry. Want to see that side of you.
Fab. So outside of pageant, in my day job, I am a chartered accountant. I've wanted to work in finance for as long as I can remember. I have always had a fascination with numbers and how they can connect people from all around the world, all walks of life. So when I was 18, I went to university to become the first person in my family to do so. I studied accounting and finance, and now fast forward a few years, I am now a fully qualified chartered accountant and extremely proud to be a woman working in the male-dominated field of finance. Um, Outside of that as well, I think I mentioned in my biography, thank you, Mike, for sharing that. I absolutely love dogs. I've grown up with dogs my entire life, so I do try and sort of go and visit them and spend time with them as often as I can, even though I no longer live at home. I regularly volunteer at my local beach cleanup organisation. I grew up on the coast, and even though I sort of moved away from my hometown for work, I still like to give back as often as I can. The beach is where I grew up, and so I want to make sure that stays there and stays healthy for future generations to enjoy the way I did as a child.
Mm-hmm. And can we also know about your country? I do know there's a lot of Filipino here in the Philippines who wants to visit England. No, can you tell us more about England, about your culture, best places to visit? Actually, no, I didn't expect there was a beaches in England. I thought it was more in ice, something like that. That was my perception of England. But when I see your video, echo video, recently, no, because we
Yes,
do have a
yes, released today.
uh, um, I saw no that you are running in a beach together with your dogs, different dogs actually. She has a lot of dogs, and you are like what you said, no? You are doing to overcome your stress by going near the beach and having a fresh air, something like that. No,
Yes.
um, but we would like to know about your place and the best places to visit and best food that you could offer. And can you tell us also the religion that you have in England? What in particular religion mostly people had? And if you had numbers, can you tell us the number of population in your country as well?
So England, firstly, is obviously part of Great Britain, the United Kingdom. Great Britain is an island in itself with England, Scotland, and Wales, and then there is Ireland over just on our west coast. So that's why there are so many beaches in England, because the vast majority of the country is actually surrounded by the sea. So that's just sort of, I guess, a bit of an interesting fact to give you a bit of insight there. In terms of England as a place, I think most people will typically think about London. London is our capital city. It is a phenomenal place. There are so many different sites to see. Some of the most famous, including places like Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London, Big Ben. There are so many fabulous places, and I'm really excited for you all to see a little bit more of London in a few weeks' time. I actually think it's next week when our landmark videos are published by Miss Earth. But I want to take a step back from London and introduce somewhere that most people probably haven't heard of in England, and that is where I grew up, the Lake District. Now, the Lake District is a national park in the north of England, and it is truly beautiful. It is full of tranquil lakes, majestic mountains, and it is just the perfect place if you're wanting to experience nature, biodiversity, and ecotourism in England. There are so many different ways that you can get involved in ecotourism and make sure that you are minimizing your environmental impact whilst traveling, which I think is something that's really unique to national parks such as the Lake District, because the local people, we welcome visitors with open arms, but we also cherish the place that we come from, and we want to make sure that it stays such an incredible place to enjoy for years and years and years to come. I would like my great grandchildren in many years to be able to have the same sort of experiences I had growing up. So the Lake District is somewhere that I would definitely recommend.
Wow.
In terms of food, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
In terms of food, I think English culture is quite unique in that there isn't necessarily any specific dishes that are associated with England, more so types of meals. So the very quintessentially English tradition is afternoon tea. And I think if you are visiting England, you cannot leave without having tried an afternoon tea. It is a fabulous tradition with lots of small cakes, sandwiches, scones, and of course a pot of tea, because after its namesake. So that is one thing. And then up north, where I'm from, something that is definitely very, very popular is a traditional roast dinner. And a roast dinner I can only equate to being like a small version of an American Thanksgiving dinner that people in England would traditionally have every single Sunday. So every single Sunday we have that sort of traditional home-cooked roasted dinner, and it is fabulous. And then fast food, another thing. It's obviously a little bit more unhealthy, but something else that I think everyone should try when visiting is a chippy. So a chippy is a fish and chip shop in the UK, but they do sell things other than fish as well. It is a fried food, but personally I think it beats the likes of McDonald's every time.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Carrie, do you have additional question to Jordan?
Yes, I do, but I also want to put a little bit of my input. I love British food. I love fish and chips. I like roasted dinners. It's honestly my favorite type of food, actually. I really love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll ask you a few more other questions. About your journey joining Miss Earth, how was it? Was it difficult? Is this your first beauty pageant? How is it going so far for you?
I have loved every second so far. Naturally, there have been some challenges along the way, and there is a lot of hard work that goes into preparing for the national competition and then especially the international competition. I was crowned only 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, and I have less than 5 weeks to go until I fly to Vietnam. So it is all steam ahead, making sure that my preparations are busy. Thankfully, this is not my first pageant. It is my first time competing internationally, but I have competed many times in the UK. Most recently, I was a finalist in the Miss Universe Great Britain competition, which is the British qualifier for Miss Universe, of course. And then it was after that that I decided maybe I was always a bit conflicted between Universe and Earth. They are obviously both incredibly prestigious pageants with slightly different messages and ethos. And it was after having discussions with friends, family, judges that I realized that my passions were perhaps better laid and better associated with Miss Earth. So it was really the environmental and humanitarian draw of Miss Earth and the idea of using the international entertainment industry, the pageants are, to really help promote the causes that I personally stand for.
Wow. You don't have much time to
Wow.
prepare after being crowned just 2 weeks ago. That's a lot of stress for you.
Yes, these videos that are being released now, they have been a very, very quick turnaround, but I have loved every moment.
I can
You men-
imagine.
you mentioned earlier that your eyes colors changing depends on your mood. Can you tell us what particular colors and the mood that you have so that we'll be able to know? Is it
Yes,
true?
yes, of course. It's quite interesting, as you say. So what happens is that each of my eyes are multicolored, so there are a lot of colors inside both of my eyes at all times. But depending on my mood, sometimes they show a lot brighter some colors than other. For example, when I'm really happy, um, they can go quite bright blue. When I'm sad, they go a bit more of a green, browny color. When I'm really tired, they'll sometimes go more of like a gray. There's a lot of different sort of ways that they go. I would like to think that they're probably quite blue right now because I'm really excited to be here. But
Thank you, thank you.
yes, it is. It is really fascinating, and I think I shared on my intro video for anyone who would like to watch it. There is some little clips there just showing the variety of colours that I think my eyes can be. It is quite fascinating and quite a special thing. I think that I'm really pleased to
Yeah,
have.
actually, it's a rare thing, not to hear that a person changing colors of the eyes depending on mood. No,
Yeah.
I thought because I have a dog here. Um, when she's out, and when he's out, and uh, I mean directed with a light, ano, ray of the sun, it turning gray, no. But when he is inside, it's brown, no. So it's different, no, outside and inside, no. That's my dog's
Yeah.
eyes, no. I don't know. I didn't expect that there's someone that um changing colors depending on moods, no, something like that, no. Which is the most rarest color that you produce in your eyes.
I would like to think green. That is a
Green.
really bright green is only when I'm truly, truly sad. And I don't like to be sad very often. So
Ah,
I think that's
okay.
probably the rarest.
Okay. Anyway, Kelly, do you have any question?
Yes, I have a few more questions. Tell us more about your advocacy and what have you done with your advocacy?
So my aim with my advocacy is to really promote sustainable fashion. As far as I'm concerned, sustainable fashion is not a luxury, it is a necessity. There is a misconception that sustainable fashion has to be very expensive and very boring, but I show people through my social media channels and through speaking and through engagement that actually it can be done very affordably and can be just as fun. I like to promote the importance of rewearing, restyling, repurposing, and just generally repairing the items of clothing that you already have. I think there are so many ways that you can wear any one garment, and really showing people that it is okay, especially in the pageant industry where people like to be very, very glamorous, and they will have a new outfit for every occasion. But that is extremely, extremely damaging to our planet. Fast fashion, the idea of having a new outfit for every occasion and constantly turning over new items of clothing, is the third largest polluter in the world, the third largest polluting industry, coming only after the oil and gas and like farming agriculture. So I think it is hugely important. In England alone, it creates over 6 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions every single year. And I think that is a huge issue, especially in England, where air pollution is our largest environmental issue. So by promoting sustainable items, sustainably sourced clothing, and repurposing what you already have, we can go a huge way towards preventing the growth of the fast fashion industry and trying to reclaim and reevaluate how we see fashion. Through doing that, we can then help to reduce the amount of harmful gases that are being emitted, as well as protecting the lives of garment workers overseas.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And also, I've noticed that London is known as a fashion capital. You have London Fashion Week, and I also noticed that some influencers are too shy to rewear the clothes or post the same type of outfit. And I can't lie, I've had that experience before until I realized that it wasn't doing any good to the environment, and I shouldn't be embarrassed to rewear my clothes. I have spent a lot of money in it. I think I should be worn again. Exactly. I completely agree with you on that one.
So interestingly that you mentioned London Fashion Week. That was a few weeks ago here in England. And as part of London Fashion Week this year, there was a record-breaking number of sustainable designers included in London Fashion Week, as well as there being a separate now partnered London Sustainable Fashion Week, which showcases purely sustainably made source items, and a lot of that involves upcycled items, which I love. I love the idea of giving a new lease of life to clothes that are destined to go into the landfill otherwise. I think having that creative brain is just incredible, and a really good way to be able to express your creativity and individuality whilst helping to protect the earth.
Wow, I love that they're a bit more open-minded now and looking more into more of a greener future and finding ways to, style clothes in a more eco-friendly way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a long way to go, I think, especially as you say, with a lot of influencers, but hopefully we are heading in the right direction, and through the platform of Miss Earth, I want to help contribute to that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Carrie, our next question.
Is there any environmental issue in your country? Is there anything in Pacific that is a big problem with the people there, that's like global warming or?
Yes, so I think I just mentioned that the largest eco and environmental issue in England is air pollution. That is largely from the industries such as fuel creation, so the oil and gas industries, farming and agriculture, and of course, fast fashion. Now, this has shortened, the air pollution in the UK has shortened tens of thousands of lives and will continue to do so because of medical issues that are formed with lungs and breathing difficulties. Something that I'm personally quite passionate about, as I do have asthma myself. And so the quality of the air is really, really important. It can really impact the way that I live day to day. One of the reasons I'm so grateful to have grown up in such a beautiful, natural, rural area that didn't have quite as much industry, because it really helped contribute to a better way of life for me physically. But in the bigger cities, it is a real problem with air pollution. And that is something that our UK government is trying to address, especially with the fuel industry. The UK as a whole, particularly England, is having a huge overhaul with the energy and trying to focus on more sustainable energy sources such as wind and water. And actually, the two largest offshore wind farms in the world are both based in England. One of them is right off the coast of my hometown. And on a clear day, you can see out to thousands of wind turbines every day. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, I do have some question here for happening in the world right now, aside from climate change. Um, Actually, last night, when my guest, I asked my guest to send a message to both Israel and Palestine people, um, in order to um, I mean, to inspire them, or that they can hear that someone here is supporting them or asking for peace. We do know, both of us, including Carrie, um, is the way we request, no, for the world, or for the both country, is a peace or a ceasefire, no, for both parties, in order um, to prevent some losses, including lives and properties. And that is why I asked our queens last night to give a simple message for them, in order for here, in order for them to hear, what's our stand and what's our message for them. Would you like to give one,
Yes, of
Jordan?
course. I think what is
Oh,
happening in Gaza is absolutely heartbreaking. My thoughts and prayers go out to every single innocent person that has been caught up in this crossfire. And I just hope and pray that there is a ceasefire soon, because far too many lives have been lost and far too many lives continue to be endangered, particularly women and children who are really suffering a very significant brunt in a country in countries that are just at war for through no fault of any of these innocent individuals. So my thoughts and prayers go out to them.
how about you, Carrie? Do you have any thoughts or opinions as well, or message for them?
Yes, I completely agree with Jordan. Like I'm honestly super heartbroken. I've seen all the news. It's all over on YouTube, on TikTok, and it honestly breaks my heart because I can't imagine being there and not feeling safe whenever I sleep, whenever I eat, or even like their own hospital. I got told it got bombed as well, and it was just really heartbreaking to be in that situation. I'm really trying to feel what it's like to be in their shoe, and I just can't imagine it, and really breaks my heart. And I wish them all the best and all the prayers, and hopefully everything will be over soon. We just have to keep praying and keep being strong.
Actually, the same, actually my message last night is on, like, in war, there's no winning, all is losses. You will not able to say you winning the war because you conquer a country, but when you see the country, it's not actually a usable one. It's almost destroyed. and people's lives uh, taken, and most of the structures are destroyed, no, by the bomb, and of course, no, with the war machines that we're using against each other. And one thing, no, sometimes I was thinking, I hope there will be no war, no, and hoping, no, that they can have a peace talk, both of them, and agree on some matters, in order for both sides to win, no, and will be able to enjoy the life that's given to us by our Creator. Anyway, I move my other question regarding the climate change in England. What the government doing to prepare or to prevent a climate change impact in your country as of now?
So the English government were the first government in the world to commit to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 with the Climate Change Act, which was a huge piece of legislation and really set the precedent for other countries around the world to follow suit. And I'm really pleased that that happened and that my country could be involved in such a change-making piece of legislation. The commitments within that, as I mentioned, are an increase in sustainable energy to really try and help reduce the amount of air pollution and greenhouse gases that are being emitted into the environment, to help reduce the damage to the ozone layer, which is obviously ultimately contributing to our climate change. But there are other key things that we've been doing, such as legislation around protecting our national parks and forest and woodland areas to prevent deforestation. And many English businesses now are associated with planting new trees for every sort of one tree that is cut down. Really common things like toilet paper. For the leading brands of toilet paper in the UK, for every one tree they cut down, they plant 10 more to help give back to the environment. There are certain things that do sadly require a small amount of deforestation, but I think as long as we're giving back more than we take, then we are doing the best that we possibly can.
Before we proceed to our next question, I would like to ask or ask a tip, no? But because you mentioned earlier in your profile that you have a eating disorder before, no?
Yes.
I know many Filipino also has the same problem. I knew some friends who has eating disorder. Sometimes cause of their depression. That is why they eat too much when they depress or stress. Would you like to give some tips to them in order to avoid or refrain, no, eating too much and go for the healthy living?
There are many, many different types of eating disorders. And I think the common factor with all of them, and the real first step towards recovering, is to speak to somebody about it. It is a mental health condition. Eating disorders are the most deadly mental health condition that there are, but they aren't spoken about enough. And I think this is because of a stigma that is attached to them. We need to have discussions and we need to create safe spaces for people to open up and share their experiences, because until they do that, it is impossible to make the steps towards recovery that are needed to live a healthy lifestyle. So my biggest tip would be to speak to somebody, whether it is a medical professional, whether it is family or friends, whether it is a helpline. I don't know what is available in the Philippines, but there is a charity in the UK that I am an ambassador for, and we have confidential helplines where people can get in touch if they need to talk and want advice. We don't give any medical advice. We are not trained medical professionals, but we can help point them in the right direction and try and help them feel less guilty and ashamed, because that is often something that people with eating disorders really struggle with, but it's not something that you should be ashamed about. You should not be ashamed to be unwell. It is not your fault, and we want to make everybody aware of that. So please reach out. My inbox on Facebook and Instagram is always open to anybody that wants to chat. If it is something that you want to do, I am more than happy to help. I've been through a fair bit of it myself, as you mentioned. I am now an ambassador, so I just want to try and help other people to prevent them having to go through what I did for so many years.
Mm-hmm. Carrie, you have follow-up or additional questions to it?
Yes, I also completely agreed with Jordan. A lot of people are struggling out there and they have a hard time opening up about their eating disorder. So I feel like if you are kind of there to help them and understand, I think they will start accepting it more and start learning more about it. So I love that you're helping other people, Jordan.
Thank you. Another quick thing that I would just like to mention, if you say that friends are suffering, a really important thing for friends and loved ones to take into consideration is that this person is struggling, but that doesn't mean you should stop including them. A lot of social activities do revolve around food, and I know, at least for myself, I stopped getting invited to a lot of things because people didn't want to have to deal with the difficulty, negativity, or they thought I wouldn't want to be around food, which I can understand, but in itself, that kind of made matters worse because it then just made me feel very alone and very isolated. So if anyone has got friends or family that they think are struggling, please make sure to keep including them. Even if they say no time and time again, please just keep inviting because it really means the world to us.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Carrie, can we proceed to our next question?
Oh, yeah, sure. So to lighten up the mood a little bit, what is your preparation for Miss Earth? Like when it comes to the gowns, the passerella, the Q&A?
So I'm very fortunate in my day-to-day job that I interact with people all day, every day. So the Q&A section is something that I'm fairly happy with, fairly confident about, because I know how to present myself, how to speak, how to answer questions, and keeping up to date with local and international news is something that I've always enjoyed doing, but equally something that I have to do for my work. My gowns that I'm taking out with me, I may have been seen before. As I say, I believe in rewearing and repurposing garments. So the gowns that I'm taking out to Miss Earth are ones that I have already owned, and a couple of rented pieces as well, because I think renting is a phenomenal way to help reduce fashion waste. If you don't want to wear something more than once, have a look at renting from somebody else. And at least that way, you're not just constantly adding to this cycle of buying new things. There are so many amazing rental platforms. I know that in England and the UK, there are a lot. And I know that Sheridan, our current Miss Earth Air from Australia, wore a lot of rented pieces during her time in the Philippines last year, and also in her recent visit to Vietnam. So it really is something that is available worldwide. I think it is a fabulous option, and I have loved getting creative with the pieces in my wardrobe and how I can style them up to take with me to Vietnam.
Wow. No, we're very amazed. No, actually, many people also, I mean, many candidates also preparing. Actually, preparing for this pageant. Actually, I saw your video having a workout. Is this part of your trainings as well?
Yes, I always loved going to the gym for the past few years. I think it has also been a big part in helping with my eating disorder recovery. It is a really good way to boost not just your physical strength, but also your mental strength. So that is definitely something that I have been doing, but equally, it is not something that is specific to Miss Earth. That is just part of the healthy lifestyle that I try to live.
Actually, Miss Earth Namibia is watching right now. Marta Nabali, no, she is watching. She has a comment also that is so true. We need to really help one another, especially when people try to speak up. Mental is a big issue. That was her comment, no, when
Thank
we are
you.
watching, no, in our interview. You will able to catch her, no, in Miss Earth Vietnam 2023 also. She's representing Namibia. I think Namibia
Yes.
is somewhere in Africa. Am I right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm very excited to meet all of the other delegates. I have loved watching the presentation videos yesterday and also the ones released today. I know there are 2 more days of presentation videos, and I cannot wait to meet all of these other incredible ladies.
Actually, she has another comment. Can you say it again? Rental is the way to go, if not rewearing, because we need to collectively work on this saving environment agenda.
Yes. I'm really glad there are people in the comments that agree with me.
She is also excited for the journey too. No, I hope she will meet you soon. Anyway, Carrie, do you have additional question?
Yes. Talking about the girls and everything, what do you expect in this journey? And especially, meeting the girls. There are a lot of delegates in Miss Earth. So what are you looking forward to and what do you expect?
I am really excited to find out, obviously, what at Miss Earth, what group you get put into, because I think there are so many ladies and I hope to meet everyone. But from speaking with my predecessor, Beth, I know that the girls that are in your group at Miss Earth really do become like your family for the time that you are out there. So I'm really excited to get to meet and get to know all of them much better. There are so many fabulous countries all around the world taking part, the vast majority of which I've never personally visited. So I'm really excited to find out more about the culture and the countries and hopefully add some places to my bucket list for travel after the Miss Earth finals. Vietnam has been on my bucket list for a very long time. So I'm very excited to be traveling there. It's actually on the mood board on my phone lock screen that I've had for the past 18 months. The Vietnamese flag is there, and so I'm really excited to actually go and visit and get to see some of the beautiful country. And just to find out more about the activities that we're going to be doing. I know Miss Earth is very well known for having a huge mix of the glamorous pageant style events, as well as the really important humanitarian and environmental work. And I think that is something that is really special and really unique to Miss Earth. And I'm very excited to find out and get to partake in more of those activities.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, you mentioned earlier that am I hearing it right? That you been in Vietnam before. Am I right?
No, I have never been before. It's somewhere that I've always wanted to go to. So I'm very, very
Oh, okay.
excited.
So is it your first country in Asia to travel or not?
Yes, it is. I have many friends at work that are from different places around Asia. One of my closest friends is actually from the Philippines, and I
Wow.
saw her and had dinner with her on Sunday. That was absolutely lovely. And I was talking to her all about it because she's very excited about me going to Miss Earth. She absolutely loves pageants, I think, like most people in the Philippines do. So I'm very excited. But no, I've never been to any country in Asia. Vietnam is going to be my first. I hope to get to travel a lot more of it in the future.
Actually, my one of our image manager in Litrato Philippines is on now in London, working, no, in England actually. Um, she is working there as a chef as of now,
Wow.
no, because both of us are chef before, was around 13 years or 15 years ago, something like that. And she is now in London and working as a chef, no? And if you want, you can visit her. He has a lot of knowledge regarding this pageant, Miss Earth. Actually, he's the one who assisting me last year pageant here in the Philippines, talking to the girls and taking care of their image on public, something like that. So if you need some friends and new friends, you can definitely visit her sometimes.
That would be lovely. And I think I'm sure that her food is much better than my experience of Filipino food, which so far is Jollibees. I love
Oh,
Jollibees. I think
oh,
it is
really?
brilliant. Yes, I love Jollibees, but I'm sure her food is going to be even better.
Mm-mm. But now she's working at the Italian restaurant, I think, in London.
Wow.
Maybe I'll get in touch with you to her, no, in order for you to be friends, no, and sometimes
Yes,
meet,
please.
no, if you have time. Anyway, let's move to the other question. Carrie,
Um,
do you have
sorry.
additional question? Okay. Do you have any additional question before we? I do know after this we will just ask her about um a message for co-queens. But before we proceed on that, do you have any other question to Jordan regarding her pageant journey or regarding her country or advocacy or something? Go ahead.
Um, so all the questions I wrote, I kind of ran out a little bit of the questions, but I um something I know because I do visit the UK a lot. I'm also half British, half Filipino, but I never lived there, so I go there quite a lot. Something I've noticed when I was there early this year, there was a lot of littering in the UK. And I just see people, there's a bin right there and there's rubbish on the floor and on the road, on the train. It was just everywhere. What do you think we can do about it to help promote a cleaner area for everyone?
I think there are a few things that we as individuals can do, and that is if you see something on the ground as you're walking, whether or not you didn't have to drop it, but you are able to pick it up. And I think that having that attitude is something that can really help change and improve our environment. A big issue, I think, in the UK is that you say, so the bins are there, but very often the bins in the UK have open sides or an open top. But the UK is a very windy country. So I know myself that even when you put things in the bin sometimes, it can just as easily come straight back out, especially if it's getting full. So another thing that people in the UK can do is you can write to your local politicians and members of parliament. It's really easy to get their email addresses and ask them to help you campaign for better trash solutions. So this includes bins that have lids so that things can't fly out, and equally so that our wildlife cannot get into the bins. Because I think when they're left open, that is also when we find our animals, they will go through the bins, but then quite often they'll find themselves stuck and really damaged. I was listening to a podcast recently with a member of the 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗍𝗶, which is an animal charity in the UK, and she was talking about the fact that the vast majority of the calls that they get to help animals are wildlife that have got stuck in some form of rubbish, or they have swallowed something and really need help. So that's something that we can do, is request these better bins so that they do have lids to help prevent it from, like I said, hurting animals and also going over the streets. But equally, I think more high streets needs to have recycling bins. Most residential streets where people will live, you will find will have recycling bins on the streets so that people can take their household recycling, which I think is brilliant. But you walk along the high streets and busy shopping streets, and they only have one bin. They have the normal landfill bin. And so for people like myself and others that are conscious of recycling, there is nowhere for you to put it if you are out. So you then have to take it home, or some people will just then put it in a landfill, which I think is really upsetting because there is no need for that to happen. We could very, very easily add recycling bins next to the ordinary bins, and I think that would also help because it would just double the amount of place for people to put things and prevent them from dropping it on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. No, I have been to some other countries. I've been to some other countries in Europe, and they do it brilliantly. One being Germany, fantastic. And everywhere that you go along the high street, you'll find that they have the landfill, plastic, cardboard, and glass, and they're always just in together. So I think that's a really great idea, and it's something that could definitely be adopted in England and in many other countries across the world.
Yeah, I felt like when I was in the UK, something I've noticed is that they're in like the households, people are very careful where they put the glass bottles and the paper. Like they really separate it compared to here in the Philippines. I've noticed that whatever trash you have is just trash. You know, you just throw it in your bin and then you throw it away. I noticed that some people here aren't really educated enough yet when it comes to what's recyclable and what's not recyclable. But I feel like in the UK, they're starting to get it a little bit more. And that's what I'm learning from you guys to bring it here in the Philippines, to start teaching Filipinos that there are things that are recyclable and not recyclable.
Actually,
yes,
the problem
definitely. I think.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mike, you go. Oh,
Go ahead,
thank you. I was just going to agree with you and say that, yes, I think it's something that we are very good at in England and Britain, is knowing what is and isn't recyclable. And in the household, you are very conscious of it, which is why I think it's really important then to add that ability for us to be able to continue with that consciousness whilst we are out in public, because everybody in the UK really knows and is conscious of it when at home, but when you're out in public there isn't the option to recycle, which is why so many things end up going into the trash that don't need to. They should be recycled instead. It's just that we aren't given the opportunity to be able to do that yet.
Yes.
Actually, in our country, the only problem that I've seen is also the people has lack of knowledge of segregation. Actually, there's a lot of government ads, including like poster, or sometimes when you go to their city halls, you will see able to have another a poster there saying how to segregate or something, and which is recyclable or not. But the problem is most of the people are not reading it. No, maybe sometimes they are not interested to read or to learn something. No, and or sometimes they don't want to apply. No, because they were also one of the reason, I think. No, is maybe when you segregate, you have, I think, 3 plastic in order to segregate the recyclable, non-recyclable, and the one who is a waste from food waste or food waste is separated as well. So I think it was 3. No, I don't know in your country how many plastic that you, I mean, the trash bin that you need in order to segregate those things. But I think here in our country, 3, only 3.
Yeah, no, we have a lot. So we will also separate our food waste. We will have garden waste, which is things like when you mow the lawn, or leaves and plants that have died, so that they can be composted. We have cardboard and paper. You have plastics. You have glass. And generally speaking, the households will have different recycling bins for most. And one way that our government made it quite, especially in my local area, I can't speak to everywhere in England, of course, but in growing up in my local area, one way that our local council made it really important to recycle was that they made the trash bins, the general landfill trash bins, much, much smaller. And it meant that, you know, every day, if you just threw all of your rubbish in the trash, your house trash bin would just be overflowing because it would be far too small. And it basically meant that you had to then separate everything into the recycling. Otherwise, you would attract things like rats into your house and gardens, which, you know, you don't necessarily want. So they made it really important for you to, and almost a necessity for you to recycle. It was a really good way to incentivize people and to build that awareness and educate on how to recycle properly.
Mm-hmm. I hope it will be bring, in our country in order for us to learn more, and how important, to segregate those things to avoid like what Carrie telling us, earlier, that whatever trash that you can put it in one plastic trash or trash bin. Actually, it is applied, until now. No? I've seen a lot of people doing it. No? I don't know why. No? Here in our house, we have only two, because we don't have any food waste, because as a chef, sometimes like the banana peel, I just put it just like a burger, something, in order for me not to trash it, something like that. Um, and the excess food, actually I give it to my dogs. I have lots. I think I have five. I have five dogs as well, so they can accommodate all our excess food.
I'm sure they're
And
very happy about that.
yes, they are. They are really excited when we have a lot of excess. That is why, only I have two trash bin here. One is recyclable, and the other was the papers, the papers, or sometimes the dust. That was, I put it on the other one. The other one was the plastic bottle, cans, something like that, for them, for some people collecting it, for them to bring it out and bring it home, while going to the garbage area and looking for recyclable materials. There's a lot, not only lot, but there are some people collecting it, actually, for their livings, and it's sad to see, but they are enjoying what they're doing, because they earn through these recyclable materials.
Yeah.
Mm. Anyway, before we wrap it up, can we ask a message from you to other queens uh, in Miss Earth 2022?
I think my main message is just that I cannot wait to meet you all. I am so honoured to be on this journey to Miss Earth with so many incredible ladies, and I'm just excited to be able to meet you all and speak to you all in person and hear more about the many inspiring stories and learn from the different advocacies.
Mm-hmm. Is that all? Anyway, Carrie, do you have I will, before we proceed to Carrie, do you have any person that you want to thanks to, your national director, your team, glam team, and your family, friends, co-office mate, or co-workers who supported you, including your fiancé? Would you like to thank them? Go ahead.
Yes, so I would just like to obviously I would love to thank my friends and family. My family are incredibly supportive of everything I do, and I wouldn't have the confidence to have entered Miss Earth England and be flying to Vietnam if it was not for the love of my family, and the same of my my partner. My friends are incredibly supportive, and the UK pageant industry as a whole, I would love to thank, because whilst we are a very small, very small group of pageant people in the grand scheme of things when compared to other large countries, we really do band together, and I think it is incredible. Some of my best friends now have been made through pageantry, and I love to visit all over the UK to see them, including the current Miss Earth Wales director. I'm really excited to be flying out to Vietnam with 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗿𝗶𝘀, the current Miss Earth Wales. We are sharing our 16-hour flight with each other, so I'm sure we're going to get to know each other very well on that, and I'm really excited.
Mhm. How about you, Carrie? Do you have some people to thank to as well?
Yes. I want to thank Carousel Production for giving me this opportunity. Definitely as my first pageant as well. I'm very grateful for everything you've done for me. I also want to thank Sir Mike and Jordan for this amazing interview. I also want to wish you the best of luck, Jordan, with your Miss Earth journey. I know you're going to have so much fun. Miss Earth is a very wholesome, down to earth pageant. You're really going to enjoy it. And all the girls there are very down to earth and super nice. So you're really going to enjoy that. And I want to thank my friends and family for always being there for me, and my supporters for always looking after me and always supporting me. And yes, I just want to say maraming salamat sa lahat. Thank you so much for everything.
Mm-hmm. Same
Thank
here.
you
No,
so much.
I, I would like to thank also Carrie for having us. For helping me out for this interview, and also, of course, no, Jordan, for giving us time and to know better, no, about herself. Of course, her country as well, to promote as a part of our tourism program, to promote other, not only the Philippines but also the other country. Thank you for that, for giving us information about your country as well. And I hope, no, you will able to bag some crowns, no, in order to bring it home in England, no. I'm wishing that um, there will be queen, no, that will able to win, no, from England as well. Actually, for what I remember last year, you sent some from Scotland, England, and I forgot the other one. There was
Wales.
three. Wales. It's three, right? That you said.
Yes, so there was England, Scotland, and Wales this last year. This year we have queens from England, myself, and a queen from Wales, 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗿𝗶𝘀. Unfortunately, there isn't a Scotland this year, which is very upsetting. I actually now live in Scotland. I am English originally, but I do now live in Edinburgh, Scotland. So I do find it quite upsetting that I'm not going to have a Scottish sister queen this year, but I will just have to try and fly the flag for both.
So how many candidates that you have in UK as of now? Three also, or
So
two?
we have for the UK going to Miss Earth, there are two. So you have England and you have Wales.
Oh, so that's the one we missed, no? The Wales, no? Yeah, I think you're the first one we interview here from England, no? Anyway, thank you very much to both of you, and I hope you enjoy our interview. Thank you very much, Carrie, for assisting me as well. I hope we will see you next week, but you're not available on 31st. It's okay, no problem, because it's on Halloween, no? And there's a lot of activities that will happen next week, including the barangay election that we have here in the Philippines, right? We're going to very busy day on that particular week, no? Anyway, thank you very much, Jordan, Louis Smith, and our co-host Kerry Riley from Miss Philippines Earth. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy our interview. See you again tomorrow, no, with Miss Earth Sri Lanka, no, if I'm not mistaken, no. Thank you very much for that, and Jemima will assist me as well. And on Friday we do have um Miss Reunion Island, no, will be co-hosted by Showering. No? Thank you very much to both of you, and I hope you enjoy the day. Good night, Carrie, and a good afternoon to you, Jordan, in your country. Thank
Thank
you very much.
you.
Thank you very much to our
Thank
viewers and also to Miss Earth Namibia that is watching us. Thank you very much for that. She will be on us on Monday. Thank you very much again and good night, everyone. See you again tomorrow at 10 to 11 p.m. here at DCRJ 10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV. Good night, everyone. Good
thank you for
afternoon to
having me.
England. Thank you very much. Bye.